Hey, welcome back. So, you're thinking about introducing a dog into your life. It is so awesome and something to be very excited for. The idea of having a dog is such a commonly loved topic, and it's so easy for someone to say, I love dogs so much, I'm gonna get a dog tomorrow. Well, you gotta back up a little bit because there's so much to know before you get your first dog. It's happened way too many times where customers will come up to me and be very excited one day because they just got a brand new puppy, they're so excited, and then unfortunately a week or so later they'll come back and be a little bit regretful, saying that they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. They're considering giving away their puppy or their dog. And while rehoming your dog isn't something that's all entirely bad, it's something that should be avoided at all costs. If it's a situation where you and your dog aren't happy anymore, then of course you want everyone to live a life full of happiness. And if separating yourselves is something that's gonna make you guys happy, then of course you have to make that step. But I believe that people need to be a lot more educated before they bring a pet into their life. The reason that I think a lot of customers come up to me and tell me that it's something that they regret now is because I don't think they did the proper research, and I don't think that they were entirely ready for the total flip of a lifestyle change. And that's okay. Dogs and pets in general aren't for everybody. Stress and tears and frustration is something that you could have avoided on both ends, on your dog's end and your end. Then you want to avoid it. So today I'm here and Riley's here to explain to you what you need to consider before getting a dog. And this isn't specific to just dogs. You can apply this to a lot of animals, but I'm gonna tailor this video towards dogs. So let's get started with the video. The very first thing that you ever want to consider before ever getting a dog is the cost. The overall cost of maintaining a healthy lifestyle for your dog can range depending on what size of dog you get and what breed of dog you get. But there are some baseline costs that you always need to consider and be prepared for. And the main one is the vet bills. Let's say you're introducing a puppy into your life. First year is going to be a little bit more expensive because you need to be giving their puppy their 3 booster shots. And there's a lot of wellness checks in general when you first get a puppy. Say you rescued an older dog that already has their first 3 shots and they've already been spayed or neutered and they have all their wellness checks and everything. That is definitely a cost completely off because the rescue does it for them. But you do have to consider the cost of the yearly shots and the yearly checkups, and you also have to consider if something happens to your dog, let's say something happens to their paw and you need to bring them in. You need to make sure that you are prepared to pay to keep your dog healthy. Their real big cost is not something that everybody does, but a lot of people like to do, is taking your dog to training classes or boarding them for training. If you are going to do training, make sure that that cost is considered because it is an expensive investment. Then you need to consider the little things like food every month, treats, new toys, new beds, bowls, crates, walking gear like leashes, collars, harnesses, boots if you're putting boots on your dog in the winter. The other important aspect that a lot of people kind of forget to consider is grooming. Depending on what type of dog you get, you do need to bring them to the groomer. If it's a fluffy dog like Riley, or if it's a husky, for example, that has a double coat and sheds a lot, whatever type of dog it is, consider what type of grooming they require before you consider getting that breed of dog. And that's not to mention nail trims. Nail trims have to happen every month too. Next aspect to consider is your atmosphere. Now, when picking out a breed of dog, whether you're rescuing or whether you're going through a breeder, you need to consider what atmosphere this breed thrives in. While each breed has a typical reputation, that's not to say that this breed that you get is gonna be exactly what it says. And I know one poodle, for example, who's a super territorial poodle, and I know one poodle who's a super laid back poodle. So it just really depends on their own personality, but you want to make sure a little bit more of what to expect based on what attitude each breed has. Also consider if you have kids, if this breed of dog is good with kids. Some breeds of dogs are more loyal to just one person in the family, and that might not work out for some families if you have a large number of people. You also need to consider your lifestyle. Are you super busy? If you get a high energy breed like a border collie, are you gonna have the time and energy to exercise your border collie and work with them and give them the physical and mental stimulation that they need. Or if you have a more laid back lifestyle, make sure you research breeds that are more relaxed and don't need that much physical and mental stimulation. Consider if you have other dogs in the household as well. Does this breed of dog get along with other dogs? Again, it's so particular to the actual dog themselves, not so much the breed, but you want a general idea so you know what you're getting into. Riley, for example, is an American Eskimo Poodle mix, and there's one American Eskimo Poodle mix that I know that does really well with other dogs. Riley had an unfortunate experience with a dog when she was a baby, and since then she's not been okay or confident around other dogs. Every dog is different based on their personality and their life experiences, but you need to research the general idea of what you're signing up for. Next, you want to consider that kind of ties into the cost aspect is their fur. Consider if you're okay with a highly shedding dog or if you want a hypoallergenic non-shedding dog. Consider the type and texture of the hair, if they're gonna have to be groomed every 4 weeks or if they're gonna have to be groomed every 6 weeks or every 6 months. If you need to keep up with daily brushing, is that something that you're ready to do? If you're not, then that's okay, but don't get a dog that needs daily brushing because then they're just gonna get matted and need to be shaved down. You also really need to consider common health concerns with that particular breed, which also ties back into the cost aspect. Frenchies, for example, have lots of breathing problems. Dachshunds, for example, have back problems. Golden Retrievers are known for their heart issues. German Shepherds are known for their hip and back problems. So when choosing a breed, look up common German Shepherd health problems. You really have to be prepared for that because as a puppy, they might be totally healthy, but as they age and their body develops, that's when the health issues are gonna start arising. Consider the size of the dog you're getting. If you're considering getting a Saint Bernard, that is a very large, fluffy, hairy, double-coated dog. If you live in a little apartment, for example, you have to be prepared to take them out and give them the exercise that they need and the fresh air and the stimulation that they need because they're going to be going crazy in such a small place for such a big body. You also have to consider potential allergies to your dog. People have come up to me asking for solutions because someone in their family is allergic to a dog and they didn't know, and they're considering giving their dog away, which is fine. It's not something that they knew about, but you have to consider it. Maybe take the people who are going to be spending the most time with your dog and bring them to maybe a friend's house who has a dog and let them spend time with that dog. See how they are and see if they're allergic or not. Just there's so many aspects of life that you have to make sure that you're prepared for because like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not that rehoming your dog is something that's totally frowned upon and wrong to do if it's gonna benefit both you and your dog, but it's something that you can so easily avoid if you just do the proper research and get the correct breed for your family. I have known too many people who also weren't prepared for puppy behavior and training. What I would say is mentally prepare yourself for sleepless nights, lots of frustration, and again, depending on what type of breed you get, some will be more willing to learn and listen to you and some won't. I feel like I'm just so passionate about this topic because I see it so often, and especially with this past year with COVID, the amount of people that were getting puppies because during COVID, no one had anything else to do, so they decide, let's just get a puppy. And then they don't consider what life would be like when they go back to work. Their dog develops separation anxiety and then you don't have the time to train them to not have separation anxiety, so you give them away. Or not even the fact of separation anxiety, you just realize that you went back to work and you're too busy to take care of your dog, so you give them away. And then when it comes to rescuing a dog or buying a dog from a breeder, I personally am an advocate for rescuing. Riley unfortunately was not rescued. Both our cats were rescued. We didn't have the proper knowledge or even the experience to bring a rescue dog into our life. And by that I mean, you never know what type of trauma a rescue dog will come with. And while rescuing a dog is something that is just so purely rewarding, I've never met a rescue dog that hasn't been the most sweetest, most grateful soul ever. But you don't know what you're signing up for when you commit to rescuing a dog. And at that point, 4 years back, we just weren't properly educated. We just didn't have the right experience. If you commit to the rescue of getting this dog and you realize that they have a type of behavior that you're not able to overcome, that's gonna be so much worse on the dog that you rescue because they're going from horrible situation to a shelter to your home that might not be prepared for them, back to the shelter, back to another home. Morally, it's just not something that you want to just jump to the conclusion and say, I'm gonna rescue a dog. I really, really, really stand by rescuing because there's so many dogs that need a home. that are so willing to give all their love to somebody, and there's just so many dogs that need that. If you think that you're prepared for something like that, then 100% please go for it, because the way that I have seen rescue dogs live their life after they get out of their shell with their new home, they are just the best dogs ever. I think because they know what their life was before, they know what their life was in the shelter, and they appreciate their proper life now. You can just look into a rescue dog's eyes and you can just see how much love they have to give. And that's not to say that dogs from the breeder don't have love to give, but they also don't know how horrible life can be, so they don't know how to be grateful. So again, if you think that you and a rescue dog can live happily and overcome their past trauma together, please do it. Do your research, and good luck with getting your dog. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!